Hello out there, and I've got a knife mod video for you today, and what you might remember from my previous mod video is the CRKT Buku that I was doing for a friend and viewer named Peach Jackson. And so that was one piece in a set of two that I was going to do for her, and this is the second one right here, the CRKT Pilar. And the Pilar is just another fun one that I did. She gave me basically free reign to just experiment and do anything that I wanted to do, and I'm sort of happy with the results and sort of not, and we'll get into why, and we'll get into also what I did to fix it. But one of the things that you can see right off the bat that ties the pieces together is that same pattern that I put on the Buku scales I did to the entire blade here on the Pilar. And so this just has that cool finish where after you acid stone wash it lightly, I just used that Dremel tool and the drill bit and just skipped it across in a diagonal pattern. And you can see it's not exactly like the cleanest, straightest lines, but it does create a pretty consistent and neat looking finish. And so I'm just really happy with that process and what I'm going to be able to do with it moving forward, just continuing to experiment with different ways to use it in different kinds of patterns. So that was that with the Pilar and the blade. I'll cover the lock side next. The lock side I sort of just did a drip acid etch the same way that I did that Ganzo knife for Patty's potato peelers, and she liked that that pattern a lot when I showed her a picture, so I actually am going to end up using it again. So polish all the hardware as usual. See if we can get this closer and focused. Yeah, polish all the hardware, the back spacer. Here's that blade again. And then the show side was supposed to be something that I was basing off of a Brian tie design. If you ever see the Brian tie drip tie for CRKT, what I wanted to do was have like some file work on the top here, and then an acid etch that would sort of make it like come together and look sort of drippy. And I did the file work first and then etched, and I sort of wanted it to be brighter silver, and so I did the file work like over again. And the problem with that is that it just doesn't look as clean. It doesn't really fit. And I was really thrilled with the way that this scale came out at first, and I should have just left it after the acid etch because it looked cool at that point. And I got a little bit of color, and I don't know what you'll be able to pick up on camera, but in the right light, this goes from like blue to purple to bronze going right to left. And it actually is really neat at the bottom right here, but I screwed it up with that part on the top. And again, she gave me free reign to do what I wanted, so I don't feel, sorry, I'm outside. Stuff's blowing in the wind. I don't feel too bad about it, but it's not exactly what I had in mind. And I think at the end of the day, it's still a very cool piece, but still not 100% what I was looking for. So I decided to fix it. And the way that I fixed it was I made a two-piece knife mod into a three-piece one. And I had a CRKT Squid that was just sort of lying around, and I decided I was going to add that to this collection. And so here's the Squid. And the Squid came out pretty darn cool, I think. Again, sort of keeping with the theme of these three pieces and tying them together with that same kind of style. On this one, I have it on the lock side scale in just a few different directions. Came out pretty good. And then the blade has that drippy kind of pattern, a little bit thicker than in other times, but yeah, that still came out pretty neat. If you're wondering about the etch, the etch solution that I've been using is still working out really well. It's giving me that full etch look, but still able to see the printing, so it's not eliminating like the CRKT logo or the Burnley. So that is pretty cool. You know, in previous etchants that I'd done, I hadn't been adding any water, and so I'd just been having such a thick etch that I wasn't able to keep that, but the logos and everything are intact on this, which is, like I said, just a neat touch. So we have that drippy kind of pattern again that I used on that Ganzo for Patty's potato peelers and on the other one. So that's on the blade here with an acid stone wash, and the only color actually on this knife is in the hardware. And I did that intentionally just to make this one stand out a little bit. So this one is all grayscale with color on the thumb studs and the the pivot, the clip, the body screws. And then here is the etch that I intended the Pilar to have. This is sort of what I was really going for. And see, again, I did that file work at the start, and then when I etched over it, it actually stuck like that. And you know, I could have had it on the Pilar just like this, but I ruined it by trying to take that extra step. And I think this is sort of indicative of what I was really going for, and I knew to quit when I was ahead this time. So I'm glad to do that. You know, glad to make that piece the way I intended, and glad to learn from a mistake. And I'm sure that my friend Miss Jackson will be very pleased with an extra knife in the order that she made. So yeah, this is a pretty neat set, guys. I've got to say, I always like to take the opportunities, you know, every time there's something that I do. I always like to learn from it, whether it's a win overall or a fail overall. I always like to get better, certainly. But this is just a set of 3 that I'm pretty darn proud of. And, you know, I usually don't say stuff like that or pat myself on the back, but I mean, I think for me, it's just something that not only shows any progress that I've made, but really for me is a door opener to things and ideas that I can try, you know, and sort of gives me a little bit of confidence to try more new things, because it seems to be working out pretty okay. So yeah, wanted to share that with you guys today. Like I said, very proud of these, happy that they're going to someone who's going to very much appreciate them. And I'm looking forward to what's coming next. I have a lot more ideas and never enough time to play with them. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Any questions, comments, complaints, suggestions, you know where to reach me down below. But I will talk with you soon. Take care and have a good one.